Let me tell you a story that starts with a single penny. Not just any penny, but one that could turn an ordinary day into the day your life changes forever. Imagine reaching into an old jar, your father's coin collection, or that forgotten box in the attic, and finding a simple copper coin from 1980. You think nothing of it, until you learn that this tiny disc of metal could be worth up to $3 million right now. $3 million, for something you might have already touched, owned, or even spent without thinking. Before we dive in, let me ask you, when was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Not just glanced at them, but really looked? Most people don't. That's how life-changing treasures go unnoticed, sitting in drawers, pockets, and dusty coffee cans. While you're busy working for dollars, a single cent might already be holding your ticket to freedom. The 1980 Lincoln cent with a rare mint mark error is one of those extraordinary finds. To most, it's a coin like any other. But to those who know, it's a symbol of rarity, history, and unimaginable value. The secret lies in tiny details, microscopic flaws, unusual strikes, and mint marks that shouldn't exist. These are the anomalies collectors and investors will pay fortunes for. If you think this sounds unbelievable, consider that in today's market, one of these coins is valued at $3 million. That's the price of a luxury home, or 3 beach houses, or a lifetime of never worrying about bills again. And here's where things get exciting. This isn't a story reserved for museums or elite collectors with private vaults. These coins are out there, still in circulation, still tucked away in everyday households. The fear? That people are spending them without knowing, letting a fortune slip through their fingers for a pack of gum. The urgency? Every year, more coins vanish into private collections, never to be seen on the open market again. The number of potential finds dwindles. While the price climbs higher, you might be thinking, how does a coin from just 1980, barely vintage in numismatic terms, reach such astronomical value? Here's the cliffhanger: the answer lies in a specific mint mark variety, struck in such limited error conditions that experts believe only a handful exist today. We'll get to the exact identifying details soon, but first, it's worth understanding why collectors chase them with such passion. The Lincoln cent isn't just currency, it's American history in miniature form, telling stories of the economy, politics, and culture of its time. But let's break the tension for a moment. Ever wonder if Abraham Lincoln himself could have imagined his profile being worth millions? Probably not, though I suspect he wouldn't mind being on the world's most expensive penny. It's these moments that remind us, wealth sometimes hides in the most ordinary places. Now, about that 1980 rarity. Most pennies from that year bear no unusual traits. But the prize coin has a mint mark that is either doubled, misplaced, or in a style not officially used by the U.S. Mint at the time. The error is so specific that you could look at hundreds of coins and never see it, unless you know exactly what to look for. And once you know, you'll never see pennies the same way again. Imagine the electricity of that moment. You're holding it, turning it over in your hand, realizing the weight of what you found. You think of the vacations you could take, the debts you could erase, the security you could finally give your family. That rush is real, and it's what drives treasure hunters, collectors, and everyday Americans to search. Here's where it gets even more intense: these coins don't just pop up in high-end auctions. They've been found in change from the grocery store, in donations to church, and even in kids' piggy banks. Every coin you touch could be that one. The question is, will you recognize it before it's too late? And here's the twist: you don't need expensive equipment to start checking. All it takes is a simple magnifying glass, good lighting, and the willingness to look closely. The thrill of the hunt comes from the fact that every time you examine a penny, you could be seconds away from discovering life-changing wealth. But remember, as word spreads, the competition to find these coins will skyrocket. Collectors are already paying record-breaking prices. That $3 million figure? It's not a ceiling. With scarcity increasing and demand climbing, the next sale could set an even higher benchmark. Waiting could cost you millions. So here's your challenge. Tonight, dig out every jar, drawer, and box of coins you have. Check them one by one. Learn the telltale signs. Keep your eyes sharp, because once you find that 1980 Lincoln cent with the rare mint mark, your life will never be the same. And when you do, you won't just have a penny, you'll have the most valuable second in your life, the moment everything changes, because the truth is, the real treasure isn't just the coin, it's the opportunity. And right now, it's sitting in your hands, waiting for you to notice. The clock is ticking. Will you act before someone else does? What if I told you that a small copper coin, hiding in plain sight for over 40 years, could be your golden ticket to a life you've only dreamed about? And what if that coin was sitting quietly in your pocket change, a dusty jar in your attic, or an old coffee can in your garage, waiting to change everything? Imagine discovering a penny so rare that collectors will pay not hundreds, not thousands, but up to $2.7 million for it right now. This isn't fantasy. This isn't hype. This is about a real 1982 D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent coin, and tonight, you're going to learn why this coin can be worth more than your house, your car, maybe even your entire retirement plan. But here's the kicker, most people who have one don't even know it. That's right, they spend it without a second thought, and with it, they unknowingly throw away a fortune. I don't want that to be you. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're going to travel back to the early 80s, uncover a minting change that created a once-in-a-lifetime rarity, and most importantly, I'll show you how to tell if you're holding this million-dollar piece of American history. Let's rewind to 1982. Gas was cheap, hair was big, and the US Mint made a decision that would accidentally mint millionaires. That year, they switched from solid copper pennies to copper-plated zinc. But they didn't just flip the switch overnight, they produced both types in the same year, across multiple mints, in different sizes and weights. Somewhere in that chaos, an extremely small number of 1982 D pennies were struck in the wrong composition, and the world has been hunting them ever since. Think of it like Willy Wonka's golden ticket, except you don't have to drink from a chocolate river to find one. Although, hey, if you do, please film it. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'll just grab a penny from 1982 with a D mint mark and retire tomorrow. If only it were that easy. The million-dollar version is the elusive 1982 D small date struck in copper, and here's where it gets interesting. Out of the billions of pennies made that year, only a handful have been verified to match this exact combination. That's why serious collectors will pay astronomical sums, with the most recent private sale hitting $2.7 million. Let that sink in. A penny, worth more than a mansion, and here's where the fear comes in. Right now, somewhere in America, someone is going to dump a jar of old change into a counting machine at the grocery store, and one of these coins will vanish back into circulation. Gone. Erased. Another fortune lost forever. Maybe it's already happened to you. Maybe you've already spent one. I'm telling you this because I want you to check every single coin before it leaves your hands. You're probably wondering, how do I know if I've got it? This is where most people tune out, but don't, because here's the truth, the difference between the small date and the large date is subtle. The 2 in the date has a slightly different curve. The copper version weighs 3.11 grams, while the zinc version is just 2.5 grams. Yes, that means you might need a small digital scale, but trust me, for a couple of bucks, it's the smartest investment you'll ever make. Imagine putting a penny on that scale and realizing it's heavier, and realizing you're holding millions in your fingertips. Now, before you rush off to your coin jar, let me tell you something most videos won't: condition matters. The cleaner, sharper, and more preserved your coin, the higher the payout. Even a rare one with heavy scratches might sell for less. This is why collectors obsess over grading, and why, if you find one, your next call should be to a reputable coin grading service. The right grading could be the difference between a life-changing windfall and just an impressive story to tell at a barbecue. But here's a little pattern interrupt for you. While you're imagining yourself with a check for millions, picture this: you hand your coin to a shady buyer at a flea market, and they give you $20 and a smile. Don't laugh. It's happened. Which is why you'll need to know exactly how to sell it safely, and we're going to get to that. In fact, that's where this gets urgent. The coin market isn't static. Collectors' tastes shift, economic pressures change, and record prices don't last forever. The highest sale ever recorded for this coin happened because two collectors got into a bidding war. If you wait too long, the excitement could cool, and with it, your million-dollar opportunity. Timing is everything. So here's your action plan: dig out your old jars, your coffee cans, your forgotten desk drawers. Ask your parents. Ask your grandparents. The more sources you check, the higher your odds. Get a scale, learn the small date markers, and weigh every 1982 penny you find. If one comes up copper weight, protect it like you would protect a bar of gold, and when you find it, not if, but when, remember that you're holding more than just money. You're holding a piece of history, a fluke of the minting process that slipped through the cracks and into the hands of a lucky few. That's the moment when the life you've been picturing, the travel, the dream home, the early retirement, becomes real. Here's the cliffhanger: in my next video, I'm going to show you the secret network of buyers who pay top dollar for coins like this, and how to negotiate so you don't leave a single cent, or million, on the table. Because the only thing rarer than the coin, is knowing exactly how to cash it in for everything it's worth. Stay tuned. Your fortune might already be in your pocket. Have you ever reached into your pocket, pulled out a penny, and thought, what if this tiny piece of copper could buy me a mansion, a sports car, or even my early retirement? Most people wouldn't give a second glance to a 1984 Lincoln cent. But if yours has a small, almost invisible detail, a D mint mark from Denver, it could be worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. And as of today, one of these exact coins has just been valued at an astonishing $2.4 million. That's not a typo. $2.4 million. For a penny. Now, before you dismiss this as another internet myth, let's step into a world where everyday change becomes a golden ticket. Imagine waking up tomorrow, checking that old jar of coins in your kitchen, and realizing you're holding what could change your financial destiny forever. Sounds thrilling, right? But here's the fear: these coins are vanishing fast. Every year, collectors snatch them up, stash them in vaults, and lock them away from public view. If you don't check now, you may never get the chance again. The story behind this coin begins in 1984, at the Denver Mint, where millions of pennies rolled off the production line. Most were ordinary, but a small number carried a subtle minting anomaly so rare that it turned them from pocket change into treasure. The difference is invisible to the casual eye, which is exactly why so many people have spent their lives unknowingly carrying small fortunes in their wallets. And here's the kicker: if you have one, it won't just make you richer, it will make you part of one of the most elite circles in coin collecting history. But why is this coin worth millions now? Because scarcity breeds desire. There are thousands of coin hunters in the US who would pay any price for this piece of numismatic history. Auctions have become battlegrounds, with bidders climbing into the millions just for the prestige of ownership. Picture it: the sharp crack of the auctioneer's gavel, the room holding its breath, and the winning bidder walking away with a penny worth more than a Ferrari. It's not just money, it's legacy. Here's the part that might make your heart race: you could own one without knowing it. And if you sell at the right time, you could step into a lifestyle most people only dream about. Think about wiping out debt in a single afternoon. Upgrading your home. Traveling the world first class. Maybe even quitting that job you've secretly been planning to leave for years. Yes, it's that powerful. But hesitation is the enemy here. The longer you wait to check, the smaller your chances become. You might be wondering how to tell if you have this $1 million cent. And I'm going to reveal that soon, but not yet. Because first, you need to understand why so many people miss it entirely. It's a tiny detail, one overlooked by 99.9% of the population. Even some coin dealers have slipped up and sold these for face value. That's how camouflaged it is in plain sight. But the collectors who know what to look for, they strike gold, or copper. In this case. Now, here's your pattern interrupt: imagine walking into a convenience store, buying a pack of gum, and accidentally handing over a $2.4 million penny. Sounds ridiculous? It's happened, and the cashier had no idea. Somewhere out there, someone has made change with one of these, and another person is unknowingly sitting on a fortune. It's like winning the lottery and throwing away the ticket. So how do you identify the real deal? It comes down to the 1984 D mint mark combined with a very specific doubling effect on the coin's lettering and features, something called a double die. Under magnification, certain letters in the word liberty or in God we trust may look like they've been stamped twice. This is the DNA marker of the $1 million coin. If yours has that, well, you may just be holding one of the most valuable modern pennies in existence, and here's where the urgency spikes: these coins aren't just valuable today, they're appreciating over time. The record-setting $2.4 million sale could be eclipsed in the next few years. If you find one now and hold it, your payoff could be even bigger. But the window is closing. Collectors are hoarding, markets are tightening, and the dream could slip away forever if you don't by the end of this video. You'll know exactly what to do: search your change, scour your coin jars, dig through that shoebox in your closet. Because somewhere in the United States, someone's about to pull a 1984 D Lincoln cent from obscurity and step into a new life. The only question is, will it be you, or will you watch someone else claim the fortune that could have been yours? Keep watching, because in just a moment, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps to authenticate your coin, the safest way to sell it, and how to avoid the sharks that circle high-value sellers. You don't want to miss this. After all, your future wealth might be hiding in plain sight, just a penny away. Imagine holding in your hand a simple penny, a coin so ordinary you've walked past thousands of them without a second thought. Now imagine that penny being worth more than your house, your car, and your entire retirement fund combined. In fact, imagine it being worth $2.2 million. Today, we're talking about one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in American coin history, the elusive 1985 Lincoln 1 cent with no mint mark. And if you think you don't own one, you might be making the most expensive mistake of your life. Before you dismiss it as just another collector's story, let me tell you this: lives have changed overnight because of coins just like this. Someone, somewhere, could be living quietly, unaware that the little copper coin in their kitchen drawer could erase every debt they've ever had. And yes, it could be you. But here's the catch: these coins are so rare that only a handful are known to exist, and every year the chance of finding one shrinks. You either act now or let the opportunity pass forever. So why is this coin so extraordinary? In 1985, the US Mint made billions of Lincoln cents, almost all bearing a small mint mark to indicate where they were produced. But a rare, unintentional error led to a few being struck without that mark. Think of it like a typo in the financial world, except instead of costing money, it's worth millions. Imagine an assembly line where 999,999 products are identical, and one slips through with a flaw so unique that collectors will fight tooth and nail to own it. That's what happened here. And the current market value? A jaw-dropping $2.20 million. That I can almost hear you thinking, okay, but how do I know if I have one? That's where most people get it wrong. The difference is subtle, and many owners of this coin have unknowingly spent it on coffee or dropped it in a tip jar. If you've ever thought, it's just a penny, stop right there. That mindset could cost you the financial windfall of your life. And here's the fun part: after we go through the details, I'll tell you the story of a man who found one in a jar of pennies from his grandfather, and didn't realize what he had until years later. But let's not spoil that just yet. When you look at your 1985 penny, the first thing to check is the space just below the year on the front. Normally, you'd see a small letter, a P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. If it's missing, and the coin looks crisp and original, you may just have struck copper gold. Of course, the only way to confirm it is with professional grading, and that's where urgency comes in. Each day you delay checking your coins, another seller could cash in and drive market attention elsewhere. In collectibles, timing is everything. Now, here's a twist you didn't expect: some counterfeits exist, and they're surprisingly convincing. That's why you need to be cautious and not rush to sell without an expert evaluation. Imagine thinking you have the holy grail of pennies, only to find out it's a clever fake. That heartbreak is very real, and it's happened to more than a few hopefuls. But here's the hopeful flip side: genuine ones don't just hold value, they grow in value over time. And if you're strategic, finding one could be the ticket to early retirement, a vacation home, or funding your children's future without a penny of debt. Pun intended. So what's the real risk here? It's not that you'll never find one, it's that you might already own one and never check. Coins sit in piggy banks, coin jars, forgotten boxes in the attic. And every so often, one of those jars changes someone's life forever. Like the man I mentioned earlier, he was clearing out his grandfather's garage, found an old glass jar filled with pennies, and almost threw them into a Coinstar machine. But something about one coin caught his eye: no mint mark. He sent it for appraisal, and just months later, he was cashing a check that set him up for life. That's the kind of chance you can't afford to ignore, and before you think, well, that was just luck, remember, luck favors the prepared. Checking your change costs nothing. Selling the right coin could mean the difference between just getting by and living a life of absolute freedom. Imagine waking up tomorrow with the knowledge that your financial worries are over. It's not just a dream for someone else. It's a possibility for you, right now, in your own home. So here's your call to action: dig through those jars, boxes, and drawers tonight. Look for that missing mint mark under the year 1985. Because somewhere out there, a coin worth $2.2 million is sitting in the dark, waiting for its rightful owner to notice it. The question is, will it be you, or will it be the person who checks their coins before you do? And here's the real kicker: in my next video, I'm revealing the 3 most common hiding places where people have found million-dollar pennies, and the third one will make you question everything you think you know about your own home. Don't miss it. Because your future wealth could be hiding in plain sight. This isn't fantasy. This is the story of a tiny copper coin that most people overlook, yet in the right condition, it can be worth up to $2 million. And tonight, I'm going to show you exactly how a 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln 1 cent could turn an ordinary pocket change discovery into the biggest financial surprise of your life. But be warned, by the end of this video, you might never look at a penny the same way again. Back in 1986, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents, most stamped with the familiar P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. But a microscopic minting error changed everything for a tiny handful of coins. A few slipped through without any mint mark at all. To most people, that missing letter is meaningless. To collectors and experts, it's the difference between a coin worth 1 cent, and a coin worth more than your retirement savings. But here's the twist: many of these coins are still out there, hidden in drawers, jars, and even your spare change. And every day they sit unrecognized, someone's future fortune is quietly waiting. Why does a missing letter make a coin worth millions? Because in the world of numismatics, that's the fancy name for coin collecting, rarity is king. Combine rarity with pristine condition, and you have the perfect storm for skyrocketing value. The 1986 no-mint mark cent is so scarce that only a handful have surfaced, and when they do, bidding wars erupt among top collectors. Just last year, one sold for an eye-watering $2 million. Yes, you heard that right. $2 million. For a penny. Let that sink in. And yes, somewhere in America, there might be another one sitting under your couch cushions right now. Now, before you start ripping apart your sofa, there's something you need to know, and this is where fear creeps in. If you find one of these coins and don't recognize it, you could accidentally spend it on a coffee or toss it in a coin-counting machine, forever losing your shot at life-changing money. And believe me, it's happened before. People have unknowingly given away small fortunes because they didn't take a closer look. So how do you tell if you're holding the real deal? The first clue is obvious: no mint mark under the date. But here's where it gets tricky: there are counterfeit coins and altered fakes out there. Scammers know the stakes. That's why you need to learn how to spot the real ones, and why professional grading is the safest route. Certified coins are the only ones that will fetch those massive auction prices. And this is where excitement turns to urgency, because each year, the few remaining ungraded coins get scooped up by serious collectors, and your chance to join their ranks shrinks. Why now, you might be wondering, if they're so rare, how do ordinary people find them? Here's where it gets interesting. Most discoveries happen by complete accident. Someone sorting through their late father's coin collection, a teenager emptying a change jar to pay for gas, a widow cleaning out a safe deposit box. In every case, the coin was hiding in plain sight. Which means the next great discovery could happen to anyone. Could happen to you. Now imagine this: you find the coin, get it professionally graded, and it's the real thing. The auction day arrives. The bidding starts at $100,000. Hands shoot up. Prices climb. The auctioneer's voice quickens. You're sweating. 1.5 million, 1.8, $2 million. The gavel drops. In that single moment, your life changes forever. And all because you recognized what millions of others overlooked. But before you sprint to check your change jar, here's the cliffhanger: there's one more secret about the 1986 no-mint mark penny that most people don't know. And it's the reason why even worn, imperfect ones can still fetch jaw-dropping sums. This detail is so important that without it, you could walk away with pennies instead of millions. And if you want to protect your find, and your fortune, you'll need to know it. The truth is, in the high-stakes world of rare coin auctions, it's not just about the coin itself, it's about timing. Market demand, collector competition, and the prestige of certain auction houses can inflate a coin's value by hundreds of thousands, even millions. Sell at the wrong time, and you could lose the kind of money that would have bought you a new home. Sell at the right time, and you're living your dream life. And that's the opportunity sitting silently in the palm of your hand right now. So here's your takeaway: check your 1986 pennies. Look for the missing mint mark. If you suspect you have the real thing, don't spend it, don't clean it, and don't trust just anyone with it. Get it authenticated by a trusted grading service and time your sale strategically. Because in the world of rare coins, fortunes aren't just found, they're made by those who know exactly what they're holding and exactly when to let it go. Somewhere out there, the next $2 million penny is waiting to be found. Maybe it's in a dusty jar in your kitchen. Maybe it's in your pocket right now. And if you're the one who finds it, you won't just be holding a coin, you'll be holding the key to a brand new life. The question is, will you recognize it before it's too late? 1 cent. The kind most people toss in a jar, lose between couch cushions, or hand to a cashier without a thought. What if I told you that one particular penny, the 1988 D Lincoln cent, has sold for as much as $1.5 million? That's not a typo. That's not a maybe someday fantasy. That's real money, right now, in today's market. And if you've ever handled loose change, there's a chance you might already own one without realizing it. Before we go further, let me ask, when was the last time you really looked at your change? Not glanced, looked. If you're like most people, you can't remember. And that's exactly why stories like this happen. Rare coins hide in plain sight because people assume they're all the same. But here's the thing: this 1988 D penny isn't just rare. It's a key to a new chapter in life for whoever finds it. Now, you might be wondering, how can a coin minted in 1988 be worth more than some houses? It comes down to a fascinating blend of history, minting error, and collector demand. The Denver Mint struck millions of pennies that year, but a microscopic variation, barely visible to the naked eye, turned a handful into treasures. Certain 1988 D pennies were struck using a die meant for the following year's coins, creating what's called a transitional design. On the surface, it looks ordinary. But the fine details, like the style of the lettering and the shape of the date, tell a different story. To a trained collector, it's a golden ticket hiding in copper, and here's where it gets thrilling, because collectors aren't just willing to pay a little extra for these. They're competing fiercely, driving prices higher with each sale. The highest verified purchase? $1.5 million. Think about that. A coin that cost the US Mint 1 cent to make is now worth more than the average American earns in 20 years. And you might be holding one right now. You might be tempted to dump your change jar on the table and start searching, but wait. Because if you don't know exactly what to look for, you could accidentally give away a fortune. There's a specific detail that reveals whether your penny is the $1,000,000 variety or just pocket change. And if you miss it, well, let's just say you won't be the one living on a beach next year. So, let's talk about how to spot it. Look at the mint mark under the date. If it's a 1988 D, you're in the right ballpark. But now, here's the twist, compare the AM, in America, on the reverse side. If the letters are nearly touching, you've got an ordinary coin. But if there's a clear gap, you could be staring at one of the rare transitional design errors. Still not convinced? The shape of the G in FG, the designer's initials, is the final clue. It's subtle, almost maddeningly so. But it's the difference between a penny worth 1 cent, and a penny worth enough to retire, and yes, before you ask, people have unknowingly spent these coins on coffee, gum, even gas. Imagine handing over $1,000,000 to pay for a donut. If that mental image doesn't make you want to check every coin in your possession tonight, nothing will, but there's a deeper reason this matters. It's not just about a rare penny. It's about the wealth that hides in everyday life, the opportunities overlooked because they seem too small to matter. That coffee change in your hand? It might be the seed of a new life, if you train yourself to see differently. Picture this. You find the coin. You verify it with a professional grading service. You sell it at auction. The bidding climbs, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, then over $1 million. You walk away with life-changing money. Debts gone. Mortgage paid. The freedom to live where you want, do what you love, help who you choose. That's not a fantasy. That's the reality for the lucky, and prepared, few, and just when you think this is a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. I have to tell you, it's not the only coin like this. The US Mint's history is full of overlooked treasures. Quarters, nickels, dimes, each with its own potential fortune hiding in plain sight. The 1988 D penny is just the headline act. But if you don't know the others, you could be walking past opportunity every day. So here's my challenge to you, starting tonight, look at every coin you touch. Learn the details. Study the clues. Because the window for finding coins like this is closing as collectors snap them up. Each day that passes, more are locked away forever in private collections. And if you wait too long, the chance to transform your life with a single penny could vanish forever. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds incredible, but how do I know it's real? Stick around for my next video, because I'm going to show you the auction footage, the certified grading reports, and the other coins that could be worth millions. Miss that, and you might just miss your shot at the life you've always wanted. The choice is yours. But remember, wealth doesn't always knock on the front door. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in your pocket, waiting for you to notice.